O our Father, who art in Zion, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come on earth, thine will be done on earth. Hallowed be thy name.
Hey guys, so I want to come up here and make another quick video. This one's going to discuss the Gullah Geechee people of the Low Country down in South Carolina. And a subscriber of mine asked me to look into this, and I did start doing some research. It's a lot of information that I feel like it's going to lead you into the other little areas to dig deeper. But from what I found so far, I want to go ahead and share it because it's very definitely interesting. So the commenter, she told me to look into the Gullah Geechee. The first time I tried looking it up, they sent me to like some water park or something crazy. So of course they might be trying to redirect the information a little bit, but thank the Most High, yeah, that there are people out there, like our people out there, who are preserving our culture. So I'm going to try to get this done in 10 minutes or less. If I have to do a part 2, I will do that, but this is very important. So the first thing before you is what you're looking at, and I will leave the links in the description box below. But what you're looking at is a movie called Daughters of the Dust, and the subscriber definitely told me to look at this. Well, she watched it on Netflix, and so I watched it myself, and I just finished it a couple of days ago, Tuesday afternoon. And so I watched it, and I gotta say, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again because some parts of it I didn't quite understand. I didn't understand it, but I did like that there was I did see a preservance of culture there. But I wanted to start here because this is kind of the thing that brought it all together for me and actually led me into researching it. So then the next thing that I found was this article here. Again, I will leave the script link in the description box below. And it talks about the Gullah. And the thing that I thought was very key here is it explains how the Gullah Geechee were able to maintain their culture and history and traditions a lot better than the rest of us here in America, because of the simple fact that they were pretty much isolated to themselves outside of European influence. And you can read this later in your own time or pause it or whatever, but this article is basically talking about how white Europeans came to the Low Country area in the Sea Islands of South Carolina. They were trying to find a crop that they could grow that would benefit and bring revenue for England, and they couldn't find anything until they realized rice. But the white planters, they were very ignorant of how to grow rice. So the one thing I didn't like about this article is that they made it sound like, oh, well, we just need to bring in some black people to grow some rice, and that's definitely not how it happened. And let me see, it says here, early attempts to capitalize on this discovery failed due to the ignorance of intricacies involved in rice cultivation among South Carolina's white planter population. White planters soon found that there was a great advantage in importing Africans from the traditional rice-growing region of West Africa to perform the arduous work. So they make it just sound like, oh, well, we don't know how to do this. We're just going to bring in some black people to grow some crops for us. But it actually was a lot more than that. They always seem to try to make or downplay slavery, the history and the context, and actually why it was happening, why it was done. It wasn't just because you need to grow some rice, okay? Because you had a whole lot more stuff going on, I'm sure, down there. Anyway, realizing the growing demand for Africans from the rice and windward coast, and that's the second time I came across this term here in the last 2 days. But anyway, realizing the growing demand from Africans from the rice and windward coast, known today as Sierra Leone, that's very key. Pay attention to that because I'm going to go a little deeper into that. The slave traders made it a point to provide white planters in South Carolina with large numbers of captives from those areas for local markets. And then as you keep going on, it says here, the development and preservation of the Gullah's distinct African culture was aided by their unique slave conditions. And so what happened is that there was diseases that began to take place, and something like, here it is, maladies and malaria and yellow fever began to affect all the inhabitants of the Low Country, including the enslaved Africans. But whites were most vulnerable to them. not a shocker. And as a result, the white planters customarily vacated their farms and moved away from the rice fields during the humid seasons when disease was rampant. Due to their absence, plantations were generally run by a few white managers trusted and entrusted enslaved Africans known as drivers. That just makes me sick. But anyway, the disease cycle kept the white population of South Carolina low while more and more Africans were imported each year. By 1708, there was a black majority in the colony. The great influx of new Africans and lack of English cultural influence upon their lives directly assisted the creation and preservation of a distinctly African set of traditions. So that was important to me because it actually gave light for me, because I will always say that, those in the Caribbean and possibly those in the Black Brit, I don't really know too much about Black Brit culture, but they tend to seem to be more connected, especially those in the Caribbean. And here to the Gullah Geechee, they tend to be more connected to their African roots and culture. And now I completely understand it. I mean, it probably was obvious, but I just didn't process it. But it was because of the fact that with us in America, in the mainland America, we didn't have those chances where we could assemble to ourselves as much as the others and preserve our culture. We were always being watched or by white people, or having someone in the camp, even up until, fairly, very, very recently. I mean, just in the 60s, they were talking about having, always having one white person in the group, so that one white person can report back, see what the black people are doing, because they were so afraid and terrified of us revolting and rising up. And like I said, if we were such these savage, rebellious people, first of all, if that was the case, slave trade wouldn't even happen. Okay. Because we would have revolted against anyone coming to try to take anything from us. And then also, if we were these types of people, we would have been done what we did. Yes, there were revolts in history, but as a whole, especially now, we were such savage people, we would have been revolted. We would have been, come up and take over. But then again, our punishment is divine. It's by, the Most High Yah, because we disobeyed our contract. So we have to, we get what we get what we pay for, so to speak. But anyway, so I love to see that there were the reason why a lot of these people were able to keep their traditions and hold on to it and preserve what they were able to preserve is because of the simple fact that they really didn't have white people around. Simple as that. That's just what it was. We were constantly watched and constantly, bombarded with European influences, which makes it very hard for us to preserve anything. So anyway, going back to the top here, where it had that these slaves came from the Windward Coast and Sierra Leone, in doing research, I came across this: The Temne Jews of Sierra Leone, West Africa, the Second Witness. Now, this is a book that I just came across, and as you can see, I read it online for free at this website, and I'll link it down below. It's only 19 pages, and it's very, very good, actually. Before I get into that, I definitely want to show you all this. This is my uploaded DNA, my raw DNA uploaded to my heritage site. I uploaded my raw DNA to GEDmatch, WeGene, DNA.man, and then of course now my heritage. And I'm not pushing my heritage and my DNA so much to try to boast about anything, but I want people to understand. I want people to visually see that I am born in America, nothing different between the typical African American. Never been to Africa as of yet. Only been to a few countries in the Caribbean, South America, and so forth. But I have not been back home at all as of yet. And yet you can still see that my DNA points all the way back to these places where where we said to have come from, West Africa, but also Israelite tribes, as we're learning more. And so I'm trying to encourage everyone in America, well, blacks, Israelites in America, that who haven't woken up yet, to wake up to this and start realizing that we're not just talking about something, we're not just screaming about Deuteronomy 28, we're actually proving it with what information we can prove it with, that, hey, we actually do point back to the biblical Israelites, and not the Ashkenazis or whatever. So anyway, I want to point this out here because my DNA says I'm 90% African, 75% of that coming from Nigeria and Sierra Leone. Shocker, no. But Sierra Leone is definitely part of my ancestry DNA. I have about 23% of that in me. And so it's very likely that the rest of us will have that in us. And if you want to pause this and read this, you can, but I'm going to skip ahead because I want to get back to what I was saying. This book here talks about the Jews of Sierra Leone, and I'm going to skip through it real quickly because I'm I'm thinking about time and all of that, but at the same time, I want you all to stop and go back and read it in your own time. So this picture here says the congregation of Yahuwah in Sierra Leone, an Israelite community or assembly located in Freetown. And I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this, but I am going to, if you look here, you can see that this says here, the coat of arms. This is the coat of arms for Sierra Leone, and this is a Hebrew coat of arms, and they both use the lions. And so the house of Temne is definitely believed to be from the line of Judah, if you go back and read through this. And then here is a coin from Sierra Leone with the line of Judah. Okay, so picking up where I left off at, here is a coin, a currency coin, and it is representing the lion from the line of Judah. And if you can see over here, the scripture here, that's referencing Judah being as a lion. And this is a coin from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, depicting again the line of Judah. And then keep scrolling down. Here is another coin from Sierra Leone, depicting once again the line of Judah. This is good information here too, but I'm going to scroll through because I want to get to some other things. But like I said, I'm going to link this down below because I want you all to go back and read this for yourself so that you can get it in yourself. So here is the president. It says here, the Temne president, earnest by Koroma, the scepter shall not turn aside from Yehuda. It's the scripture there. And if you look, what's interesting about this to me is that, of course, you see the line of Judah above him, but he has fringes and zit all around his chair. And I mean, gosh, I love looking at this picture because we're just so dignified and intelligent people, completely the opposite of what they wanted to paint us as before when they first met us, the Europeans. And it's just ridiculous, but I love this picture. I love seeing this. Like, this is so encouraging and empowering. And that's what I loved about the Black Panther movie. Of course, there are multiple variety of reviews, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I respect that, but for me, I loved it because, like I said, it was very empowering. And if you haven't seen my review video, you can go view that on my page. I might link that down below as well. But another thing I want to point out about that, while I'm on that topic about the Black Panther, the thing that really empowered me the most is that we were able to come together as one people. Like, I am very much big on connecting those of us in the diaspora, because we have to realize that we're not divided by countries or regions or states or so-called nationalities, like American and British and Canadian and Haitian and Jamaican and Brazilian. Like, these are man-made terms given to us. We all came off the same ships. Our ancestors came off those same ships, and we were there in their loins with them. And so it's important for us to come back together and remember that. And I saw a video on YouTube earlier today about how there was a boost between 50 to 70% increase in sales with young, small Black African business owners because of African Americans wanting to dress in traditional garb. And so I love that. Some people may say that's exploitation, but to me, I love the fact that we are connecting, we're unifying, and we're coming together. Even one lady in the video, this store owner, she said she loved the fact that we are coming together, and that's the thing they feared the most, and that's why they work so hard to keep us separated and divided. But I'm rebuking that, and I'm binding that up in the name of Yahusha, because we can't do that. So anyway, back on topic here to the Temne, because that's a whole separate video. Here are some Temne words, and here are some Hebrew words. And they were saying, when you look at the Temne language, we can find many Shemitic words of Hebraic, Aramaic, and Arabic origin. So here's one, Omanke, hiding place, Manke, hiding place, Oyara or Oyera, to dwell, Mayera or Mayara, to dwell. And I apologize if I'm messing up these pronunciations. Oko, one, going or go, Bo, going, Yah, greeting to an elderly woman, Yah, Yahuwah, the creator, Rabbi, chief, Rabbi, or actually this part is going to be more pronounced like Rabbi, and then over here in the Hebrew is Rabbi, Yehudi, Yisrael, Onasa, Yada. They're all the same, and then it keeps going on. More. And so I'm going to leave this. Oh, that's even interesting. I didn't catch this. Ayin, which is definitely a Hebrew word. Ayin means eyelids. Anyway, here you go again. Ayin, Hebrew letter and symbol for the eye, or is the eye. So anyway, I'm going to keep going down. And then here are some customs. It says there are more Israelite customs that I've discovered among the Temne, such as when a woman is on her menstrual cycle, she cannot touch anything or it will become unclean. She must separate herself until her cycle is finished and afterwards purify herself in water. And so here's a scripture in the Torah speaking to that, about how we are to keep ourselves clean and unclean during our cycle women. And then it says here, when doing sacrifices, traditional Temne say Nabi or Nabi, prophet Messiah, Okakashu, my father Yashu or Yeshua. There are some Temnes who believe that using Yeshua or Yeshua when making sacrifices came after colonization. Some don't know why they say it. They would just explain that it was handed down to them by their forefathers before colonization. If this is true, this is great evidence that they knew of Yahushua, Messiah, and his divinity. This would also confirm that they left Jerusalem after the destruction of the temple, since Yahushua was impaled about 40 years before. And so that's key, because a lot of our people do not believe in the Messiah, and that's going to be an ongoing battle. We can't change that, because that's what it was back when the Messiah was walking on the earth. I mean, that's how he ended up getting crucified anyway, by our own people. So some going to believe and some are not going to believe, but it's individually up to you to decide where you fall and where you believe. I personally believe in the Messiah. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. A lot of people deny him because of the white image that the Europeans have put to him, but you can't get hung up on that, because that's not him. There actually was a Messiah, not that white Jesus guy, but he still actually existed. Okay, if somebody takes my picture and draw me as a white woman, are you going to say and deny my existence? No, I still existed. Just because somebody drew me as something else, it doesn't change the fact that I still existed. So that's key. And then here is a traditional garment with fringes on it. And I'm going to keep going down because I want to show you some more pictures. And this is an interesting thing too, because this is talking about, this is a good key point, talking about the sacred box, which is likened to the Ark of the Covenant. And then it says here, the kalapara, or the kalapra, is a skull cap that is identical to the Hebrew cap called the kippah. What is funny is that a lot of people believe that the European converts, Ashkenazi, started this custom. The kippah and talit shawls were and are still being used by the Israelites in the African diaspora. And I love these caps. I actually think they're so cute and handsome and attractive on Israelite men. I don't see a whole lot wearing them, but at least not in America, but they definitely do wear it. And so I love those caps. They are so attractive to me. And then here it says, as aforementioned, the talit is worn among the Temne people called the Brunia. It is used as part of set-apart garments in prayer. Here is a picture of a Temne Fula wearing what looks like to be a Brunia. Prophecy is being fulfilled among the tribes in Sierra Leone. Before they begin to return the Torah, there was a series of prophecies about the house of Judah residing in Sierra Leone. People saw visions, and here are some depictions of those visions and dreams. A lion coming up out of the mountains, and here's another one. I'm scrolled through them. Like I said, you can go back and read them in your own time, because I want to get to some other points that I think I want to talk to right now. This is also key too. Let me also mention that every Israelite that is returning to the commandments of Yahuwah are not being touched by the Ebola virus. Now, this I think was written a couple of years ago, but still, it's very key. That has been unleashed in Salome. Just like when our forefathers were in Egypt, those who claimed to Yahuwah were not touched by the plagues. Death and sickness passed over them. Here are some photos of the Great Awakening and prophecy being fulfilled. These are Temne Yehudim Jews. I love it. Here's another one. He has the name of Yahweh on his or Yahuwah on his doorpost. Keep scrolling down. Here are some women, Israelites in Calabar town, Sierra Leone, on the Day of Atonement. Israelites in Freetown, Sierra Leone, on the Feast of Weeks, Pentecost. I love it. Here's some more Israelites in Sierra Leone. The Israelite Assembly, the Congregation of Yahuwah in Sierra Leone, located in Freetown. Israelite congregation called Master of the Sabbath, located in Calabar town. And then he goes on to say his final piece of work. But this is important. I love it. It's just amazing to me. And so we all have, just because our DNA may say Nigeria or, wrong thing. It may say Nigeria or Sierra Leone or something like that. You got to remember that we were called by multiple different names. So do not be confused and think that, oh, you're from all over the world, you're from all this different place, you're all mixed. No, I believe it's just, in my opinion, I believe it's just a pool of Hebrew Israelites that are masking under the name of Sierra Leone, under the name of Nigeria, under the name of Zulu, because we are all Israelites. And so it's going to look like we're diverse and mixed, but we're really not. The last thing I want to point out really quickly is the Holy City Bible Tours. And this is what one of the ladies, commenters, share with me, and I want to definitely go back and do this. Well, I haven't done it yet, but I want to go back to Charleston and do this. And if I can get to it before this video runs out, but if I need to make a part 3, I will definitely do that. But I want to show the chant. Now this tour is done by Godfrey Jefferson Cahill. He is the only certified Gullah Geechee historian. Looks like I'm going to need to do a part 3, but he's certified historian in the country. And I'm trying to find it, because this is some good information too, but I'll leave this link down below so that you all can go back and read it for yourself. Trying to find that chant. Is this it? Okay. I'm going to have to find it in the next video, part 3. Shalom, you guys. Okay, guys, so I was able to find what I was looking for here on the tour website. And it's Gullah tours are currently the most popular tours in the city. Amen. That's awesome. Hallelujah. Gullah, Negro, Colored, African American, Afro-American, Black, Hebrew, Geechee, the true history of the mysterious Gullah people and their culture. And what I noticed that when it comes to Israelites, the history is all, well, the national history, or the public history. For those who just touch the surface, they always say, "Well, it's where their origins are. They're mysteries, and they're mysterious." And I'm not talking about this website here. I'm just saying, like, when you're doing basic research, typically done by Europeans, you will see, oh, well, the origins of these people are unknown, and the origins of this is unknown. Just like in America, nobody really knows where they come from. Just somewhere in Africa. Oh, particularly West Africa, but that's it. Like, I just find that interesting that you see that narrative. I was looking up some Ndebele stuff last week actually, and it was like, well, the origins of the Ndebele people are unknown. I'm like, oh my god. Anyway, back on topic. So this is a chant, I guess you could say, and it says, oh no, these are questions, I'm sorry. And it says, who are they really? Who are they? Why are they so peculiar? Where does the language originate? Where do the Gullah people come from? What is their connection to the slave trade? What does Gullah really mean? What's the difference between Gullah and Geechee? And it says all of these questions are answered, plus many more. We be them people. And this starts the chant that I was trying to bring you guys to. It says, we be them people, them be them Gullah. We be Geechee. Songs were used for many different reasons. Messages were communicated, as well as giving the highest honor to God, Yah. Ancient Gullah spiritual song and chant. Gullah, Gullah, Gullah. Me, Gullah, Gullah, Gullah. We, Gullah, Gullah, Gullah. Be, Gullah, Gullah, Gullah. We be the Gullah, Gullah, Geechee. We be the Gullah, Gullah, Geechee. We be the Gullah, Gullah, Geechee. We be them people. We be them people. We be them people. We be them people. A. Now look, Yah. Look, Yah. A. Now look, Yah. A. Now look, Yah. These lines are repeated over and over, louder and stronger as you feel the energy and vibrations rise up higher and higher. Now, that's important to me because it has the name of Yah in their chant. So that's very much history documented that Yah is the name of the Most High, that Yah, the Elohim of Israel, that these people are Israelites. It all goes back to it. Another thing I think about is the chant and how they said here that it will be repeated over and over again until they felt louder and stronger. Reminds me, or causes me to think about Jericho. When we went around the wall of Jericho, we marched, and on the last day we chanted and we sang. Our people have a history of chanting and singing and, bringing that spiritual connection to the Most High, and energy from our music, from our songs and dance. And we do that anywhere we are, whether it be America, Caribbean, Canada, British, Africa, wherever we are, Mexico, South America. We that's just part of who we are. Scattered across the isles of the sea, that's just who we are. Anytime we sing and come together as a group, that's just who we be. If you look at like our football teams in high school particularly, or any type of actual sport where we are participating in great numbers, usually the men or the women will have some kind of chant, will do some type of saying or something, and that encourages us, that inspires us, that brings a type of connection and confidence. And so that's in our history, that's ingrained in us. We do these things on a regular basis. Now the word Gullah actually is a Hebrew word. If I wasn't remembering to do it earlier, I would have already looked it up. I don't want to get off topic trying to find it in the scriptures, but you can do it yourself. You can just search Gullah in the Bible, and it actually is a Hebrew word, and it means bowl or basin. And so that's another key key fact right there, that their name that they call themselves is not even African, so-called African, or like the other, I guess, Hamitic languages, or Phoenician languages. The word that they call themselves, Gullah, it actually is a Hebrew word, and it's actually used in the Hebrew Bible. So, I mean, it's just so many things that point to this, and there's definitely a whole lot more that I know I can get into. But it would take forever, and I definitely just want to go ahead on and put something out there because I found information I thought was good enough to share at this point, just to spark your interest and get you thinking and doing your own digging and researching. So I'm definitely going to probably once I do this tour, I'm probably definitely going to go back and come up with another video referencing this. But I just want to give the shout out to the woman who, the commenter who asked me to look into this. This is really key. I've always heard the Gullah Geechee. I grew up watching the Gullah Island show. Many of us probably know what that is. I was probably like 10 years old when that was on. And I never really knew anything about, I knew they were shrouded in African customs, but I didn't know anything about the Gullah and like this. So this is very interesting. One last thing that I want to point out here is that I believe in this article here, back to this article from the first video, or first part, it says they were able to keep their customs with making baskets. I can't seem to find it in here, but you guys can go back and, oh, here it is, I think. For example, Gullah artisans skillfully created wooden mortars and pestles, rice fanners, clay pots, and other pieces closely connected to Sierra Leone. Most importantly, tourists in South Carolina and Georgia can still bear witness to women continuing the tradition of basket making in local markets and roadsides. These beautiful pieces, known as sweetgrass baskets, are closely connected to the Sierra Leonean shukuble. So when you Google shukuble, let me go back. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here are some of these images of the sweetgrass baskets, or the shukuble. And they're beautiful. Like, how do you even do something like this? This is amazing. And then, of course, you can see images of our people, Gullah people, with selling them for back in the day. This is interesting. I don't know what this is. Exploring the Gullah culture of the Low Country. And I mean, this is a painting, but if this don't read Israelite to you, then I don't know what else to tell you. Let me see if I can find that picture that I was looking at earlier. Oh, here it is. Now look at this, our people. I mean, it's just beautiful to me. The more I learn about our history and our culture, I have I've always held these pictures and images in high regard, but I have even a greater attention to them and regard for them. It's just beautiful, and I am excited. I love it. I mean, it's who we are. I love it. That's not what I need. That's not what I meant to go to. Anyway, but these are our people making those sweetgrass baskets. I think this article also mentioned that the Gullah was establishing or wasn't this article here? I can't remember which one it was. I have so many windows open, but they were establishing what do you call it? Free communities in the lowland country, the Sea Isles off of South Carolina, Charleston, Charlestown, by the 1700s. So they had generations and generations of freed Africans or freed so-called Africans or Israelites that were born. And so that's another key point, because not everyone that lived during slavery in the Americas or scattered abroad were actually slaves. Now, my family goes back to slaves. My great-grandfather, my mother's side, was a sharecropper. He worked in the plantation. I have a great uncle, or using 3 greats, I'm not sure, but I have a great uncle that's in his mid-90s, and my father was talking to him, and he was saying that his grandmother was a slave, and so my people definitely go back to slaves. So but just because you may not have you may not have relatives who were not actually slaves, does not necessarily mean that you weren't you're not a descendant of Israelites, because there's those free slaves are still born to people who were either a slave themselves or have ancestry that goes back to slavery somewhere, or also were part of the transatlantic slave trade, or somehow slave trade. Somehow they were they have ties to that. But even though you may not, even though not all of our people were born chattel property, we still are in the same captivity as that. We are removed from our homeland, and we can't go back until the Most High brings us back. That's just the way it is until the time of the Gentiles has been fulfilled. So anyway, I hope that was encouraging to you all. I hope you all learned something. This is another video that I started watching. I have to finish it, but I'll probably link this down below as well. So I'm going to leave you guys there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, shalom, shalom.
Father, who art in Zion, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come on earth, thine will be done on earth. Hallowed be thy